So, hello, dear students. I am Dr. Monica from NIET Pharmacy Institute, Greater Noida. I am going to take your subject, that is Pharmaceutical Microbiology, BP 303T. Our institute is affiliated to APJ Abdul Kalam University. So, today I am going to take my lecture number 11. I have already covered many things before related to unit number 1, in which we covered up the isolation part, we covered up the inoculation part, we understood about the microorganisms, bacteria, viruses, fungi, how we can isolate them, how we can identify them. But today I am going to I have already discussed in my previous lecture number 10, that is we started up with the microscopy part. Now, what are the various microscopes which we learn in microbiology, as we can't see microorganisms with naked eyes. So, we actually require microscopes for seeing those species in the environment, in the samples of water, in the soil. So, what actual microscopy is? Microscopy is the subject which deals with the study of microscopes. Now, in my last lecture I covered up light or optical microscopes. If you remember, in my previous lecture I discussed about this light or optical microscopes, in which we tried to cover up the bright field microscopes, we covered up dark field microscopes, and we even covered up the phase contrast microscopes. I told you about the differences between bright field, dark field and phase microscopes, and what are the differences between their principles, how it works, and what are their application where we can use these instruments in microbiology. So, these topics we have already covered with in the previous lecture. Today what I am going to deal with is the electron microscope. Now, what electron microscope is, we will cover in this lecture, and along with that we will also cover the various types of electron microscopes. Like, first one is SEM, that is scanning electron microscope, and second one is TEM, that is transmission electron microscopes. So, this main lecture deals with this electron microscopy, that is the last part of our unit number 1. So, in electron microscope, actually a scientist named Ernest Ruska in the era 1906 to 1908, he was a German engineer and academic professor. He actually in 1931 built up the electron microscope, and on the same principle behind his prototype, still we are using various types of new microscope, modern microscopes like SEM and TEM. These are also based on the same principle of electron microscopes. Now, electron microscopes which we use are the microscopes which are based on the signals coming from the electron beam. These mainly cover up the signals arising from the interaction of electron beam with the sample to obtain the information. Actually it contains there are various parts within that microscope of electron microscope. What are those parts? The source of electron is a gun, where the gun is present at the top, and the electron gun generates the electrons, and electrons are actually the source which generate the image of the specimen. Two sets of condenser lens are always attached to the electron microscopes, and these lenses condenses the light towards the specimen and then introduce a tight beam of electrons through and pass it through the specimen, which creates an image on the screen. And the projected image which is being projected on the screen, we can easily see those images. As you can see even in this diagram, that is this is the electron gun from where the electron beam will pass, and it will pass through the this condenser lenses. These are the condenser, this is the condenser lens. First condenser lens, it actually the electron which will come, they will come from the cathode. Cathode will generate the electrons, and electrons then are directed towards the specimen with the help of two condenser like this. First condenser, here we have the second condenser lens, and these condenser lenses will focus the beam towards the specimen holder, as you can see, here is the specimen holder where we will place our specimen to be seen, and that electron beam will rise that specimen, and those after passing through the specimen, the objective lenses are there, and those objective lenses will transfer or focus our light towards the that is eyepiece. Eyepiece means electron beam which will be collected by the fluorescent screen or camera. The whole light which will pass through the specimen will be collected with the help of projected lens towards the fluorescent screen, and your specimen, whatever specimen you want to see, that specimen will be visible on the projected screen. That may be a camera screen, that may be a computer screen. You will be able to see those species. An electron microscope is a microscope that uses a beam of accelerated electrons. This is the main difference between electron microscopy and light microscopy. In light microscope, if you remember in my previous lecture, I discussed about light microscope. Light was the main source which was creating the image, but in this case we have accelerated electrons will be the main source which will illuminate the specimen and which will be responsible for creating the image. As the wavelength of electron is always be 1 lakh times shorter than that of visible light photons. As you can see that our light microscopes have higher wavelength, whereas electrons have 1 lakh times shorter wavelength which passes through the specimen, and that is why it has the higher resolving power. So, electron microscope as compared to the light microscope always have higher resolution and will give the even the that is whatever structures are there within the cells or within the organelles, we can even see those organelles within the structure. So, this has much more power, resolving power as compared to the light microscope which we discussed in the last lecture. The light microscopes and can reveal the structure of smaller objects. Smaller objects can also be seen. Light microscopes were giving only the image, surface image of the project or surface image or image of the cells, whereas electron microscope can even discover whatever organelles within the which are there within the cells. We will be able to see the mitochondria, we will be able to see the cytoplasmic membrane, we will be able to differentiate between the cytoplasm. So, electron microscope has much more resolving power as compared to the light microscope, as it is based on the electron source, and electron which passes through the specimen will be responsible for the illumination of the object or creating the image of the specimen. So, specimen, whatever the specimen to be examined is made extremely thin. What we need to do is when we are going to use our that is electron microscope, we have to cut the specimen. Whatever specimen we want to observe under the microscope, we have to cut that image into the thin sections. We can't use thick sections for this because we have to see the organelles within the cell structures. So, that is why the sections must be thin, or we must cut the section thinner, that is 200 times thinner than those of optical microscope. The sections which are being used in case of optical microscope, that were thicker, but in this case we have to cut the section thinner sections, that is 200 times lesser, that is thin section as compared to whatever the specimen that is sections were used in the optical microscope. Ultra thin sections of 20 to 100 nanometer. We have to cut the section into 20 to 100 nanometer, which is already we will place in the microscope, and we will try to observe under that electron beam. Electronic beam will pass through the specimen and electrons are scattered depending upon the thickness and refractive index. Whatever the image will be created, that will be created based on the differences in the refractive index, differences in the thickness, differences in their diffraction patterns. So, these diffraction pattern will create an image on the projected lenses, or will create an image on the cameras, or will create an image on the that is computer screen. So, based on their differences in refractive index, those images, those parts will be observed. Denser region in the specimen, if we have some denser regions, that will appear dark, whereas transparent regions will appear brighter. So in electron microscope, what we see, in denser region the specimens scatter more electrons and therefore appear darker. The image will be darker if the regions are denser, and if the regions are, that is, transparent, then the images will be brighter in nature. Electron beam coming out of the specimen passes through the objective lens, as I have shown in the previous slide, that when the electron beam will pass through the condenser lens, it will be projected towards the specimen with the help of two condensers that will direct our electron beam in a thin wave like projections towards the specimen. So, what will happen, whatever the electron beam will come out from the specimen, that electron beam will be collected with the help of objective lens, and those objective lens which has higher power and forms intermediate magnified image, that magnified image will be that is generated with the help of those objective lens which will be placed below that of specimen. The ocular lenses then produce final further magnified image. With the help of ocular lenses, we can easily observe our that is specimen. We can project our that images over the screen of the computer, over the that is projections over the that is camera screen. We can easily further see our specimen on the that is final images of our specimen on the screen of computer or cameras. Now, after covering the electron, as I told, electron microscope can further be that is, electron microscope is divided into two parts. That is, two types exist of electron microscope, that is, one is SAM and second one is TAM. Now, what is the full form of SAM and what is the full form of TAM? That is, SAM stands for scanning electron microscope and TAM stands for transmission electron microscopes. There are two classifications of electron microscope, one is SAM and second one is TAM. Now, what is the main difference between SAM and TAM, scanning electron microscope and transmission electron microscope, is that scanning electron microscopes will always give the surface image. Whenever the light will not pass through the transmit through the specimen, it will take only the scan of a surface of the whatever specimen we want to observe under the microscope. What it will do, it will take the surface scan of that specimen. It will not the electron beam will not pass or transmit through the specimen, it will just take the surface image of that particular specimen. The SAM produces image by probing the specimen with the focused electron beam that is scanned across the rectangular area of the specimen. When the electron beam interacts with the specimen, it loses energy by variety of mechanisms. The lost energy, whatever the energy will be lost as when the electron beam will be passed through the cathode, will be generated through the cathode, it will be projected towards the specimen, and when it projected towards the specimen with the help of two types of condensers, first condenser and the second condenser, which will create an electromagnetic radiations, it will create an electromagnetic field within the that is instrument, and it will direct the electrons towards that of the specimen. And when it interact with the specimen, the electron beam interacts with the specimen, what will happen? It will lose its energy, and the lost energy is converted into alternative forms. Now, what are those alternative forms in which those energy will be converted? First is heat, second emission of low energy secondary electrons, and high energy back scattered electrons. Now, that lost energy will be converted into three forms. One is it will be generated in the form of heat, second it will be generated or emitted in the form of low energy secondary electrons, and third it will generate high energy back scattered electron. And all these forms, all these three forms, whatever we have studied in this, all these three forms then are collected with the help of that is projected lenses. Objective lens will collect all these energies, like whether it is in the form of heat, whether it is in the form of emission of low energy, or whether it is in the form of high energy back scattered electron. Those all will be collected with the help of various analytical instruments, and those energies will be signals will be then be that signals varying carrying various information will be collected, and then the image will be projected based on the signals over the screens. So, we have even X-ray emission may also occur within the instrument. As you can see in this instrument, this is a scanning electron microscope. Now, what is happening? First, we have the electron source from where the electrons will be being generated, that is, it is cathode. And from here cathode will generate an electron beam, and it will be projected through these two anodes will create an electromagnetic wave, electromagnetic field within this environment. As you can see, whole electromagnetic field will be created, and that will project our electron beam towards the condenser lenses, and in the condenser lenses, from the condenser lenses it will be focused towards the objective lens, and objective lens, or after that it contains the, here we have placed the, that is specimen. Specimen is placed here, and whenever the light will move, electron beam will move from here towards the specimen, and it will be, I told you as in the previous slide, that it will be scattered in the form of 3 to 4 waves, like it will be in the form of X-ray emission. It will generate a back scattered electrons, it will generate that is X-ray emission, it will generate secondary electrons. So, whenever the electron beam will touch the specimen, it will emit 4 types of waves, and those waves when come from the surface will collected with these type of detectors. Detectors will be there at this end, and these detectors, what these detectors will do? These detectors will collect the electron beam, and those electron beam then will be amplified with the help of amplifiers, and after amplification it will reach the that is digital screen, where we can observe our images. So, all these collected that is emitted electrons, emitted secondary electrons, emitted X-ray emissions, all the waves will be collected and will be amplified, and after that it will be observed on the screen. After that comes the transmission electron microscopy. Under transmission electron microscopy, what will happen? That whatever electron beam you are passing, it will not directly generate the back scattered electron, it will not generate, that is X-ray emission, but what it will do, the whole beam, electron beam, to illuminate the specimen, create an image. The electron beam is produced by electron gun and commonly fitted with the tungsten filament. It will pass through the that is specimen. It will not remain just on the surface, it will pass through the specimen. It will as it will be, the electron beam will be accelerated by the help of various anode at 100 kilo electron volt with respect to cathode, and focused by electrostatic and electromagnetic lenses. Now these electrons will be transmitted through the beam, through the specimen. It will not just remain on the surface, but it will transmit out through the specimen. As you can see in this diagram, that electron gun is generating the electron beam, and anode is then passing the electron beam through the condenser, and from condenser it reaches the objective, and after that it reaches the intermediate lens, and here we have placed the specimen. As you can see, specimen is placed here. So, our electron beam is transmitting through this specimen. It is not just remaining on the surface of the product or specimen which we want to observe, but it will pass through the specimen, and whatever the rays will emit out, it will even observe the internal organelles within the structure. It will not just give the surface image of the specimen, it will also gives the, that is, projections of internal structures of the specimen. So this is the main differences. Sorry. Scanning electron microscope mainly is an excellent, but it only gives the surface morphology of organisms, whereas transmission electron microscopes will provide the internal compositions of the cells. It is based on scattered electrons, whereas it is based on transmitted electrons. It has comparatively low resolution, it has high resolution. Depth of field is high, depth of field is moderate. Magnifying power of SAM is just 1 lakh, 1 lakh to 10 lakh, whereas magnifying power of transmission electron microscopy is 5 lakhs. It produces 3-dimensional image, whereas TAM only produces 2-dimensional images. After that comes the various advantages of electron microscope. It has very high magnification, it has high resolution, it has material rarely distorted by the preparation, it is possible to investigate a greater depth of field, as well as it has various diverse applications. What are the limitations of electron microscope? The main limitation is we require highly skilled persons to operate these microscopes. Secondly, we won't be able to see the live organelles or live specimens within that microscope as highly that is electron beam is passing through the specimen, so specimen will not be live. So after that it works in vacuum. Vacuum is always required as we are going to that is pass an electron beam through the apparatus. So vacuum is always required, which make the instrument very sophisticated and very expensive too. It is highly expensive to build and large and cumbersome, extremely sensitive to vibration and external magnetic fields. Other applications of electron microscopes are, these are being used for diagnostic purpose. These can be used for drug research. Even in pharmaceutics, if we say we generate various type of formulations, we can easily analyze those formulations with the help of electron microscopes. We can even analyze the particle size, we can detect the particles, we can go for protein localization, we can do the tissue imaging of the product, we undergo toxicological studies. Even in pharmacology department we can use this electron microscopy. We can characterize our various pharmaceutical systems using this microscopic techniques, like we can understand about nanoparticles, we can get the image of that is microparticles, we can have nano emulsion, we can study micro emulsions, we can go for solid lipid nanoparticles. Various types of formulations can be analyzed with the help of electron microscopy, and various specimens can be seen, and the images which I have discussed in this, mainly the difference you need to know about this electron microscopy, that is you must know the difference between SAM and TAM, what SAM can do and what TAM can do. SAM can only give the surface of the cells, it can't give the internal organs of the cells. So we always go for TAM if we want to get higher versions, or we want to analyze much more internal organelles within the cells, we have to go for the transmission electron microscopy, and SAM will just give the surface image of the products. So in the whole lecture what I told you, that is microscopy. Microscopes are always required for the analysis purpose. Microscopes deals with the study of microorganisms. Microscopes can only be used for the various kind of analysis of the cells. Until and unless we do not have microscopes, we will not be able to see those images which are micron in size and which are nano in size. So this electron microscopy, or whatever we studied in the previous lecture, that is light microscopy, all microscopies are helpful, but time to time higher versions of each and every microscopes have been developed, like from bright field microscope we move towards the dark field microscope, and from dark field microscope we move towards the that is phase contrast microscope, and from phase contrast, as their resolving power was very less, we were not able to analyze the organelles within the structure, we were not able to analyze the they had the very less resolving power of the internal structures. So we move towards the electron microscopes. And what's the difference between, you must know the difference between light microscope and electron microscopes. You must know about the differences between SAM and TEM, and you must know the difference between, that is, dark field phase contrast microscopy and bright field microscopy. I have discussed all these things within my lecture number, previous lecture and this lecture, that what actually microscopes are and what is the main difference between bright field, dark field and that is electron microscopy. And even I discussed about the that is SAM and TEM. Now references which you need to follow is the Prescott, Dhun and Pelzar and K.R. Aneja you can follow, and this Hugo and Halsall used, but the best book which I always prefer for microscopy is Pelzar. Pelzar will gives you the that is whole data about the that is microbiology. It will tell you about the various microscopies, it will tell you about the various microbiological parts. It also includes the differences between electron microscopes and that is electron microscopes, SAM and scanning electron microscopy, and that is transmission electron microscopy. So this was all about unit number 1. In whole unit number 1, what we discussed in my all lectures, I covered up the unit number 1. So scopes and that is what we call as application was discussed by Avijit Majumdar sir, and I have discussed about the various parts or related to unit number 1, like I have covered up. In my first lecture, I told you about the isolation techniques. In first part, I told you about the 4 eyes which we can use in case of that is whole microscopy, that is the microbiology. 4 eyes, that is inoculation, isolation, that is identification, and I even told you about the incubation part, that what 4 eyes stands for. As whole microbiology, it revolves around these 4 eyes. We must know the techniques to inoculate, how we can inoculate microorganisms from one culture to the other culture. Second, I told you about the isolation technique. In isolation techniques, what we did, in isolation techniques, I told you about the, that is how we can isolate the pure cultures from the multiple cultures. If we have multiple culture, we have lot of microorganism in any of the, that is if we have lot of microorganism with any of the culture, then we can isolate single culture, single microorganism from that culture. I told you about quantitative estimation, that how we can quantitatively estimate microorganisms within any of the formulations, within any of the cultures. So quantitative estimation we did for viable microorganisms, we did for the, that is the dead microorganism we did for total count. We even given the total count of microorganisms using the quantitative estimation. And in the last lectures, I covered up the microscopic techniques, that is how microscopes, what are the various microscopes and how microscopes can be used for, that is for the analysis or for observing the microorganisms under the slide, under the microscope, how we can see those microorganisms, how we can observe those microorganisms, and what are the various microscopies, advanced version of microscopes are available to all of us. So these whole part of unit 1 covers that part, that is whole microbiology, that is introduction part, branches, isolation, inoculation techniques, incubation techniques, quantitative estimation of microorganisms, and even the microscopy part, how we can see those microorganisms using various microscopes, and what are the various advanced version of microscopes are all available to us. So, so you can follow all these references for that, and I always say for practical part you go for K.R. Aneja, and theoretical part if you want to follow you can go for Pelzar. That these both books are the best books, and even Prescott and Dhun is also one of the best book which we can follow in, that is related to your industrial microbiology. So thank you so much.